Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. He's Drew Martin. Today is Monday, July 31st, and this is the regular series preview show that Drew Martin and I do every Monday and every Thursday. Drew Martin, I told you in all sports I do better in the second half of the season, and I'm chugging away in MLB. I had another winning day on Friday in my picks show on Friday morning. I was only up 1/10 of a unit, but that counts as a winning day. So when I say, yeah, I don't lie, but I definitely, take minor credit when I get it. If I'm up 1/10 of a unit in one day, I will say that I had a winning day. I'll also acknowledge that I was only 1/10 of a unit. But all right, Drew Martin, and of course a lot of roster changes that are happening. A lot of so that could change things by this upcoming week. But there were a few series that I've kind of been looking at, and as always, the starting pitching matchups are pretty key. The first series that caught my eye, Drew Martin, is Detroit at the Yankees. Now, Detroit is a team that, in general, I'm looking to fade. Of course, they got rid of J.D. Martinez, and that's a big bat that they threw out of their lineup. And their bullpen continues to be a liability. So in general, I'm looking to fade Detroit. Now, their upcoming series is against the Yankees, and tonight's game is Fulmer against Severino. And as I mentioned, people asked about that in the morning show, and it was just too high of a line. The Yankees opened at -175 on the overnight line last night, and that was too high for me, and it got bet up to the -200s, Drew Martin. So that shows you that the market and the betting public are very high in the Yankees in this series. So I don't know what the lines will be, but on Tuesday it's Sanchez against Sabathia, and Sanchez has looked very vulnerable recently. Then on Wednesday it's Zimmerman against Tanaka, and Zimmerman, as we know, has been very vulnerable in general. Tanaka's off a great start, which doesn't necessarily mean that he's likely to have a good start here. But in general, I'm looking to fade Detroit. I'm just worried that maybe they won't be a big enough that the Yankees will be too big of a favorite.
Yeah, tonight you just said -236
with
That's
Fulmer.
ridiculous.
With Fulmer on the other side.
He's not the best of the best, but he's a high ceiling guy that could work through the lineup.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised by that. It actually makes me want to be a contrarian here.
Yeah, you're right, Drew Martin. And actually, I'll admit that I did bet I bet Detroit on the first 5 innings tonight, not because I necessarily think they're going to win the first 5 innings, but because I got +215. Unbelievable. +215 with Fulmer. Severino is great, but yeah, so my first thought was I was looking to bet the Yankees in this series, but if the other 2 games are as inflated as tonight's game is, maybe that won't be the case. And especially the issue is that on Wednesday, Tanaka's off a great start, and the last time he was off of a high strikeout start, he got crushed in his next start. And in general, whenever Tanaka has a high strikeout start, that's good where he doesn't give up a lot of runs. He's been more hittable in his next starts. And Zimmerman, off a quality start, but it's just, again, the Yankees should have the edge, but if they're -240 in that one, I'm not going to be taking them, though. On Tuesday, I am be looking out for the Yankees, though, because Sanchez is looking very vulnerable, looking like he's on his way down. Sabathia, not great, but probably good enough. Do you have an opening line there for the Tuesday game by any chance?
Yeah, on which one?
The Yankees and Detroit.
Yankees -180, -175 at Heritage.
All right, so that one's probably going to get bet up. I would consider taking the Yankees -1 on that one, actually, because, again, I think Sanchez is very, very vulnerable here. Sabathia, not great, but probably good enough to get the job done. So I'm probably going to be looking at taking the Yankees tomorrow. You can find out whether I do or not in the Tuesday morning show. Wednesday, though, is going to be probably a stay off for me. And then another series I was looking at, Cleveland and Boston, and there was a lot of debate on this game tonight on the Monday night game. Supposedly sharps were on Boston, and I told them where they can shove that opinion. I'm on Cleveland tonight. I gave that one 2 ways in the morning show, and I did bet it. I bet Cleveland -1, and I also bet the Cleveland team total over. Tuesday and Wednesday, I would have been leaning Cleveland as well, except starting pitching matchups have me concerned. On Tuesday, it's Carrasco against Sale. Now, obviously, Boston's going to be a massive favorite, but Sale is getting into absolutely not just like you want to bet on him every start, but just assume he's going to give a shutout start every start out. He is literally lights out right now. He's given up 0 runs in each of his last 3 starts. Carrasco's probably going to be good for 6 innings and 2 runs, but this might be one of those, games that Boston wins 3-0. So maybe a look to the under, but, I don't think I'm going to be able to take Cleveland in that one. Then on Wednesday, It's going to be Bauer, I think, against Porcello. And Bauer's starting to show some upside again. I like to bet him when he's a big underdog. He started to throw his knuckle curve, which has gotten some he started to throw his knuckle curve more, which is kind of a quirky pitch that he's gotten good results with. So the question is just, how huge of a favorite will Boston be if they're minus 200 here? And Cleveland on the other side is plus 175 or plus 180. I probably would take a shot with them with Bauer. In general, this is a series that I'm looking for Cleveland to have some value because they can't go against Sale. What do you think, Drew Martin?
Yeah, I mean, going against Sale, I think is crazy.
Yeah.
Bauer, he seems like kind of volatile to me every time I've bet on him.
Which is why I like to take him as a big underdog.
Yeah, great point. That's a great correlation there. And Pete, one thing I've realized, we're actually doing this live for the first time.
Yes.
So people are commenting in, and it looks like Yu Darvish was traded to the Dodgers.
Holy shit. All right. So, wow.
Thanks for that, BMOC.
Wow, that is big news. Yeah, Yu Darvish actually coming off of a couple of starts in a row where he was, regressing a little bit. And then his last start, absolutely shellacked. He was actually the starting pitcher in that game where Miami put up 22 at Texas, and 10 of those were charged to Yu Darvish. So, what to expect from him going forward. Obviously, the Dodgers, that's a tough one because the Dodgers are going to get massive he's probably going to be overvalued. Yeah, that is tough. That is tough because I want to bet against Darvish going forward, but I don't want to bet against the Dodgers going forward. So that's a tricky one. That's a tricky situation. But again, Chris Sale might be heading into Clayton Kershaw land, where Clayton Kershaw was, like a minus 300 or 350 favorite every time out, but in retrospect, maybe should have been 700 or 800, and that might be starting to be the case with Sale. So that's certainly an interesting series. But I am on Cleveland tonight. All right, Drew Martin. There's two other series that I wanted to bring up. One of them was the Dodgers. We'll talk about that in a second. Is there anything that you'd like to bring to our attention, Drew Martin?
I'd like to bring up another one. Blue Jays trade Francisco Liriano to the Astros.
Oh, really? I don't know about that. Liriano had some neck issues. He wasn't effective. Liriano, for a long while, has had injury issues and just issues with being ineffective. I'm guessing that he was the best one that they could pull a deal for. I'm not sure that that's a great acquisition of theirs. It makes me think that maybe they might be actually overvalued when Liriano starts, or maybe look to overs with him. But I'm not sure that that's a great acquisition for Houston.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm not a big fan of his. But also, I want to bring up as far as this week's series go. Yu Darvish scheduled to start tomorrow for Texas.
Yeah.
So with him being traded to LA, would you actually look to fade him? He's got to move. He's got all that going on in his head.
I mean, the thing is, I was looking to fade him anyway. So the question is just, what will his next start be? Is it going to be the Dodgers? Their next series is on the road against Atlanta, and that was actually one of the. There were 4 series I wanted to bring up. That was one of the series that I did want to bring up. Atlanta has kind of been slumping recently, right? For a while, they were overachieving offensively. Of course, Matt Kemp being out doesn't help. But, when is Darvish expected to start? Is he expected to start on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Thursday, I'm seeing Wood against Newcomb. So maybe they'll slot him in on Wednesday against Tehran.
Which would give him an extra day's rest. But still, I think it helps that he's meeting the team on the road, if that's even the case. I'm kind of guessing here. But.
Yeah, Young Jeezy asking, what did the Dodgers give up for Darvish? I'm guessing that they gave up, youngsters or not much. And he's saying Darvish has been average at best this year. Actually, to start the year, he was pretty good. Then he started to struggle, and his last start, he was getting crushed. So I'm agreeing with Young Jeezy. I was looking to fade Darvish in general going forward, but not. I was looking to bet on the Dodgers in general going forward as well. So that kind of cancels out. The Dodgers have been great, plus 24% ROI in July. I think the Dodgers are a team that, as good as they've been, have been undervalued. So that's kind of, from a betting perspective, not great news to hear when a pitcher that you've been looking to fade, going forward, gets traded to a team that you were looking to bet on going forward. Okay. Kind of canceled out,
Yeah. I mean, maybe first 5.
Yeah, maybe fading him on the first 5, or doing the old first 5 innings team total over or team total kinds of things. Maybe teams going up against you, Darvish, will have very low first 5 innings team totals, and so maybe you take a shot with the overs there. You'll get some 2s at not that big lines, or maybe some 1.5s, maybe even thrown in there. So yeah, that's interesting news. I'm not exactly sure what to make of it right now. All right, so yeah, looking at the Dodgers Atlanta series, that was one I was looking to bet on the Dodgers. Not sure what I'm thinking right now, but I saw on Wednesday Stewart against Tehran, and Tehran is another guy who's been really getting hit hard recently. 6 home runs in his last 2 games. One of those games was against the Dodgers. He gave up 3 home runs in that one. And Stewart is one of these guys, a fringe, major leaguer who still had some, he had some health issues in the minors. Then he came back, got some okay results in the minors, and then came back to the majors and was getting some decent results as a spot starter and in long relief in a small sample size. So I was looking to maybe take a shot. I was expecting the Dodgers to be a very, very small favorite, to not be a big favorite at all on Wednesday against Atlanta and Toronto, to be looking to bet on the Dodgers on Wednesday. So if the starting pitching matchup is Stewart against Tehran, definitely I'll be looking to take the Dodgers there.
Okay, I'd agree. Hey, Pete, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
AL pennant winner, who would you take, the Yankees or the Astros, or the field?
The pennant, to win the pennant. See, I actually don't think of things in those terms. I bet baseball day in and day out, and I don't really think of like who's more likely to win a pennant. I guess. Let me see. So Correa is supposed to be back for Houston by then, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely have to be taking Houston there because they have I think they have a more complete lineup. Definitely a more complete bullpen, and in the postseason that can matter a lot. They can do funny things with bullpens where teams with deep and quality bullpens. I know the Yankees added a couple of guys, which helps for sure. But I mean, ask me right now, putting me on this, I would probably have to say Houston.
Okay, yeah.
And my guess is that going up against the Yankees is one opponent that if they it depends on who they're playing in the last
Young Jeezy saying
series.
Everybody better wake up and watch out for the Royals.
Well, they've certainly been. I don't know about that. I mean, I think they've obviously been undervalued for a while now and overachieving. I'm not sure that they have the completeness in terms of all around starting pitching rotation and in their lineup to really compete with those top teams. So KC might continue to be a valuable play on. At least for the next couple of weeks, but I'm not sure that I would want to bet on them. I'm not sure they have any value in terms of winning the pennant, but I haven't checked those odds at all. So it's possible that they do. Just in terms of the upcoming series, again, I'm looking at the Dodgers on Wednesday, and then Thursday's an interesting matchup. Wood against Newcomb, velocity dipping for Wood, and Wood had a second straight subpar start in his last start. By the way, Drew Martin, did you catch once again? McCullers had a subpar start. Did you catch that?
Yeah. Dude, you've been all over that, Pete.
Yes,
congrats.
Yes,
man.
Another one. I was definitely on Detroit in that one. The first 5 innings over, and despite the fact that it was Houston, and I'm definitely looking to fade just to continue to fade McCullers until he goes on the DL, which once again I predict will happen at some point in August. We'll see, or maybe it'll be September. But
so you're fading him in his next start too.
McCullers, yeah, I haven't even checked to see what the matchup is, but I mean, obviously, on the road against Detroit, without JD Martinez is not a great, spot that you would think to fade McCullers. But again, he got hit. I'm just auto fading McCullers, and I said that a bunch of starts back, didn't I say that?
You did. Yeah.
I've been on that train. I told y'all to get on that train as soon as it came out.
How many have you gotten now? Like 3 or 4?
I don't remember. Yeah, like 3 or 4, 2 or 3, something like that. But here's another train, Drew Martin. The Alex Wood fade train and I'm not necessarily looking to fade the Dodgers in Wood starts. What I am looking to do is what I did with his last start, which is take overs. Okay. He's going up against Newcomb. Newcomb, another guy who figures to have control issues once again. You're probably going to get a relatively low total on this one because Wood is starting, and again because Newcomb does have some kind of a phenom name to him. So the total probably won't be that high. Dodgers will probably hit Newcomb, and Wood, I think, will give up a few more than expected. So I'm looking at the over on Thursday, not necessarily to bet on Atlanta. You see how we do this, Drew Martin? When I'm fading McCullers, I'm looking to bet against Houston. But when I'm fading Wood, because the Dodgers are so great in general, I'm looking to take overs instead of taking.
You're just a smart
master. Unbelievable, Drew Martin. I told you when your first day in this office, I was like, Drew Martin, I have an above average IQ. My IQ is probably like average is 100. Mine's like 102 and a half.
You're top 1 percentile.
No. I put myself 52nd or 53rd percentile.
No,
yes.
97, possibly 98.
Slightly above average is where I put myself. All right, so yeah, the Dodgers in Atlanta. That's an interesting series, and we'll see how the Dodgers do in that one. Again, Atlanta has sort of faded a little bit. And here, you know, whenever we do these videos, Drew Martin, I love to ask you about Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee, you know, has scored only 5 runs.
I know.
In their last 3 home games. It was against the Dodgers. They did face some decent pitching there. I have to think, though, that Milwaukee's going to pick it up. When are they going to pick it up? It might be this series at home against St. Louis. What do you think, Drew?
I like them at home, and you know their pitching staff I still think is pretty sleeper under the radar. So I'm gonna stay to my ways and be looking to back Milwaukee when possible.
Yes, and I'll tell you, looking at the pitching matchups, the pitching matchup on Tuesday looks pretty favorable. It's Martinez against Nelson. Now, both Martinez and Nelson start off the year great and have regressed recently, but Martinez has clearly regressed more than Nelson. They're both giving up home runs, but Martinez is giving up more. And their strikeouts are both down, but Martinez's strikeouts are down significantly more. So I'm thinking that Milwaukee might be a nice play there. They will be a favorite, though. You have their line there, their opening line for the Tuesday game?
Yeah, it's right around -110, I think.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we got it.
You better not be lying to me here, Drew Martin.
All right, we got Heritage showing -110. I'm looking at SBR odds.
There we go.
We got Chris showing -113. Wager Web -111. The Greek -111.
This is my movement of enthusiasm and action. There you go. I'm on that one. -110, I'm on it. I'm definitely on it. I was thinking, yes, I'm on the Brewers tomorrow. Martinez against Nelson for sure. I mean, look, because they brought up that guy, that outfielder Brinson, right?
Yeah.
Who adds more power. Yeah. So I mean, look, they've obviously been slumping out. Recently, they had that road trip at Pittsburgh where their offense slumped out. They just haven't been scoring. And then their last home series, you know, they were slumping out a little bit. But I think that's about to change in at least a significant way. Maybe not a major way, but at least in a significant way. And I like Milwaukee in this series. I like them against Nelson, and that indicates to me that they might be undervalued in the entire series. I'm not sure who the pitching matchups will be for Wednesday and Thursday, but I have been reading that Wainwright might be back. And I saw that he was slated to start on Wednesday. Now, I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I have been reading reports that he's a scheduled starter for Wednesday. Wainwright, you know, all the respect in the world for him, but I'm not sure if he's going to come back and be fully healthy. And then on Thursday, Waka's been pitching well, generally been pitching well, but that might serve to keep his line inflated a little bit. He's definitely a guy who can get hit. And then on the other side, you know, I've been reading that Suter is going to be the starter maybe on Wednesday or Thursday. Suter, as you know, I don't know. Yeah. I've definitely been on that train as well. His first, I forgot what. There was like one game where there's only been one start where I wasn't on him. The other starts, I was like, all right, this is a train I'm jumping on. So if it's Suter against Wainwright, I'll probably be on Milwaukee. And if it's Suter against Waka, I'll probably be on Milwaukee. Okay. Now, the other starter who they're bringing back is Garza. And I've been reading that he's slated for the Thursday game, which, you know, Garza hasn't been super terrible recently, but he's definitely uninspiring.
Yeah, I mean, I love Garza 2009, but we're a long way past that.
So if the Thursday matchup is Waka against Garza, I probably won't be on Milwaukee unless, which is possible, we're getting a big home underdog line. So if it's Milwaukee plus 140, you know, I might be on them there. But in general, I'm leaning Milwaukee. I'm definitely on them on Tuesday with that line, and I'm definitely going to be looking to be on them whatever Suter starts. And what my hope would be this, Drew Martin. I'll tell you what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they put Suter up against Waka. Because if that's the matchup, it'll be like tonight's game. It'll be like about 110, 115. And in that case, yeah. And I'm hoping that then it's Wainwright against Garza. Because again, you'll get with Wainwright starting, you might get a home dog line with Garza. And in that case, I would be willing to take Milwaukee as well.
Okay, and back Garza.
Yes. I got the 101.5, the 101.5 IQ gears working here, Drew Martin. All right, so that's all I have.
We also got Susanna saying in early June, Milwaukee took 3 out of 4 in their series versus St. Louis. So
yeah,
I don't know. That was a little bit different Milwaukee.
Yes, definitely. But not totally different. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
I think they've just slumped out for various somewhat excusable reasons recently. St. Louis has definitely been picking it up offensively, which is impressive. And all those factors, I think, are combining to conspiring to make Milwaukee a little bit undervalued in this series. We'll see what the actual lines are, and we'll see what the pitching matchups are. But definitely Martinez against Nelson at -110. I'm on that one, baby. All right. Anything else you want to bring up before I highlight some notable starting pitching matchups between Tuesday and Wednesday?
No, we're good. We're good. Go ahead and highlight.
All right. So here's what I was highlighting. The first one we got to look at, Steve Matz. Now, when he came back, I don't know if you recall, but Drew Martin, I said that I was looking to fade Steve Matz for the Mets. You remember?
I do remember that. Why though?
Because for a lot of reasons, some of them are proprietary. Drew Martin. So no, I'm kidding. None of it. They're all, because he just he's abandoned his slider, and it looks like he was just is sort of like his early career success caused the injury issues, and now he's coming back and he's going to try to pitch in a different style that will allow him to have longevity in his career.
Yeah, that's fade city.
Yeah, and like so that. He might work it out in some way, one way or another, but I'm definitely looking to fade him. And it was interesting because his first few starts back, much like Cole Hamels, were actually surprisingly good. And I think I got burned on a few of those. But then, much like Cole Hamels, he started to regress in a major way. His next start is at Coors. Now, I don't know, man. I'm thinking he's got to get crushed. On the other side, Jeff Hoffman has definitely also been regressing. He's one of these guys who's been getting crushed at Coors and on the road. So I'm thinking, we'll see. We'll see what the line is. It's going to be a high total. It's going to be 12, maybe 12.5, maybe 11.5. I don't know. I'm going to be looking at an over in that game.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that the line will be close to -110, -105 on either side. And I don't know what I'll think about a bet as a side on that one, but I think I'm going to be looking to the over on that one. And then,
I like that over.
Yeah. And then maybe another one I have circled here is Archer against Fiers, Tampa Bay at Houston. Now the question is, how big of a favorite will Houston be? The betting markets are starting to like Houston, and all season long, Houston was profitable on the road, but not at home. They were accurately priced at home. That's still been the case recently. And, Fiers, great career resurgence, all credit in the world. But Archer, also a guy who, gives you a lot of strikeouts, isn't necessarily lights out, but reliably gives up, 3 runs. So I'm thinking if Tampa Bay is, an underdog of, I don't know, 130, 140 or higher, I'll take Tampa Bay there. Archer against Fiers.
Yeah, Archer can work his way through the lineup, huh?
I think he can. Don't forget, Correa's out, and I believe Springer is out. I forgot when Springer's coming back.
Day-to-day, right?
I think so, yeah. So, they're a little bit banged up, and if you look at their lineup, it's still strong, but it's not the juggernaut that it was when Correa was in there and Springer was in there, and they're all in, and Bregman and all these people.
And you got to remember, they're not going to rush these guys back.
Yes,
There's no need,
exactly. So I'm thinking that maybe, and maybe even better on the +1 line for Tampa Bay, against Houston.
Yeah,
actually, it's Tuesday game. Can you check the line? Can you check the line?
We'll check that line right on SBR odds right now. We got -125.
Oh, see, that's not high enough. Yeah,
a lot of the market's with you.
Yeah, the market's onto it. Okay, and then the only other, and then let's move on to a Wednesday. Let me just quickly highlight a couple of starting pitching matchups for Wednesday that I think are interesting. The first one is the next one. Tampa Bay against Houston is going to be Pruitt against Keuchel. Now, Keuchel was rusty in his first start back. My guess is that he'll be significantly better in his second start back. We thought the exact same thing with McHugh, right? A rusty first start. You see that a lot. A lot of times these big starting pitchers come back. First start back is a little bit rusty. Second start back is a lot better, and I think we're going to see that with Keuchel here against Tampa Bay. What do you think?
I agree with you.
Yeah, and then on the other side is Pruitt. Pruitt was a guy who I was thinking might be good in his first spot start, and he wasn't. And this is a guy, I think Pruitt's going to get hit. The only issue is how big of a favorite will Houston be? But, if they're only -125 tonight with Fiers starting, then maybe Keuchel will be, I don't know, -170, -180.
Who's he going up against?
Pruitt.
Yeah.
Pruitt, a 5'11" converted reliever, with control issues. So I would take a shot with Keuchel at Houston at -1, at like -170. Yeah, Drew Martin, when it gets into like July and August, physical makeup, I like CC Sabathia. I like big burly men when they're first starting pitchers.
So you like 6'4", 230,
I like
95 plus.
Give me 6'6". Yeah, I like a big burly man for a starting pitcher in August. That's what I do like, and Pruitt is not that. And then another one is Stevenson against Williams in Cincinnati-Pittsburgh. Now, Cincinnati has really been scuffling. Yeah. They lost Zach Cozart, and that looked like a big game. He was their one bat that was reliable, hitting for average, just a nice cog in that lineup. And when he went down, they really started to slump out. And we've seen what can happen to lineups like that. We saw what happened to Milwaukee when they went into Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, same kind of lineup. And the pitching matchup here is Stevenson against Williams. And Stevenson, a guy who is really struggling walked 7 guys in his last start, something ridiculous.
And Williams has been all right.
Williams, yes, he's exactly the kind of starting pitcher who I love for this kind of game because he's
under the radar in the betting markets.
Yes, unspectacular, but definitely solid enough. He's probably not going to get shelled here. He's probably going to give you, 6 or 7 innings. 2 or 3 runs, might be a little bit better than expected with Cincinnati's lineup coming in. And because of his overall numbers on Wednesday, he's not going to be a big favorite here,
Yeah,
and that's on Wednesday. And we saw this recently with the Pittsburgh series against Milwaukee. They got a lot of low-scoring wins as a favorite, and I think we're going to see something similar here, at least on Wednesday.
What's that going to be priced at?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, the thing is that Stevenson has been – Williams is definitely, as you said, under the radar, solid, but unspectacular. But Stevenson has been really bad. Stevenson's been a little bit too bad. So, it's possible we'll see minus 160 here, which would be pushing it a little bit,
I was hoping for like minus 140.
Yes.
It's going to be past
That's the big – is it going to be 135 or 140, or is it going to be 155, 160? Those 20 cents make a big difference. But, we'll see. I'm definitely going to be leaning to taking Pittsburgh in that game. And just in general in the series against Cincinnati, because I think Cincinnati, it's going to be similar to what we saw with Milwaukee when they went in there. Just, a team that kind of relies on home runs that can't get them in there, and going on the road, tough spot for them. So, yeah. And then the only other game that's interesting is J.A. Happ, who is regressing, the White Sox, of course, have great season-long numbers against lefties, but they friggin' traded away, they traded away Melky Cabrera, right? They traded away the other guy. Who's the other guy they traded away? I can't remember. Garcia's on that. Garcia is still out, so it's I'm not sure if how much they'll be able to take advantage of a lefty here, a struggling lefty. But J. Happ is definitely regressing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have anything on this one. Toronto White Sox.
That is a tough one. All right, Drew Martin. A lot of uncertainty in MLB right now, but you know what that means. You can take advantage of it if you're following it closely day in and day out, which is what I do every day. I hit the overnights. I hit the morning, first 5 inning lines when they come out, and we discuss it all in the morning shows every weekday at 10:30 Eastern time. Drew Martin.
It's a good show to watch. It's a great day to start. It's a great way to start your day with couple baseball picks. It
definitely is. And I'll tell you what, Drew Martin, I started the year great. I was terrible in the middle. I had a terrible run. I'm now almost positive. And since I did that superstitious thing with my with the Yankees thing,
I've been doing well.
Record is 50-26 at an average line of minus 109. Yes, that's what. See, it's hard. Drew Martin has seen it all and done it all, and it's hard to throw an honest handicapping record at him and get a reaction like that. But you all saw what that reaction was, and anyone who wants to, what's the word when they check the record? Anyone who wants to audit my record, please, by all means, go back
through and run the tapes.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what,
a few days.
I'm expecting to be profitable in August, Drew Martin. I am.
All right, Pete. And what about CFL? You've given out some of that.
Yes,
too.
my bet of the week last week was Saskatchewan, cashed easily, and I did look at the games this week, and I don't have any sides that I'm liking. I do have totals that I'm liking. 3 totals.
I lost on BC last week.
Okay, that was a game that I didn't even have an opinion on. Okay. No opinion. Saskatchewan was my play of the day. All right, and I do give my CFL picks every day in the morning shows as well, and I'll have some tomorrow morning when I finalize my decision. But I'm definitely liking 3 totals in the CFL this week, and none of the sides, but 3 totals. All right, Drew Martin, thanks for sitting in once again. We'll be back on Thursday.
All right, guys, see you.